So understanding preventative maintenance doesn't just mean doing your oil changes on a schedule. There's a lot of other things that you should do in preventative maintenance on your truck. And I'm currently going through that right now with getting a lot of stuff that I wouldn't say I ignored. I just wanted to continue to wait to spend the money I'm spending. But I'm at the point now where it makes sense to spend this money, do the preventative maintenance on my truck so I don't run into problems when I'm on the road. So it's the next day. We're back at the truck. They've already been doing some work on it, which is good. They got my door taken apart here because my latch broke. Like I couldn't open and close, or I couldn't open the door anymore, and the window quit working. So it looks like they got this taken care of because this door wouldn't even open. Well, it's coming back together. The one thing they just pointed out to me though is that this ABS sensor is bad, so I'm getting a new one replaced there too. But the wheel seal and everything's coming back together. So the new ABS sensor has been replaced. So they got the rear axle back together. Tires are back on. Yeah, everything's looking good here. So I did just get a new water pump also, and I happen to have my drive belt because they don't have them in stock, but I carry a couple extra belts in the truck with me. So they're gonna put this on for me too. So this is something else I'm getting done. If you look at this, look at the movement. It's hard to see. But these joints in here are moving on both ends of this. So I'm replacing this steering column as well. Another thing I'm doing is getting all new batteries. These are 2018s. And you see all the corrosion on them. Yeah, it's time for new batteries. So I had them pull the batteries out, and I'm getting 4 new batteries also. So another thing that I did to the truck, I'm not willing to climb underneath it right now, is I had a new carrier bearing put in. And these are all things that are preventative maintenance on your vehicle. It's more than just oil changes and filter changes. It's having somebody inspect your truck every year, year and a half, and come up with a list of things that are starting to wear on your equipment. That way you can make a decision to get 1 or 2 things done at a time, or like me, choose to get it all done at once. That way it's gonna save you from being stranded on the side of the road where you might need a tow and spend thousands of more dollars. Even though this is expensive to do, hopefully you've structured your business and been disciplined enough to where you have money set aside to do things like this. So I'm sitting here at the dealership, just getting ready to leave again. The truck's not ready, so I have to spend another night in the hotel. But I do have the invoice that was sent over to the dealership in Minnesota for the damage that they caused to my truck. Hopefully you've been following along with this saga, but I had a wheel seal and a bearing replaced at a shop in Minnesota, and it caused a lot of damage to my truck. So I'm going to go over this real quick. It's not as expensive as I thought it was going to be, but it's money that I shouldn't have to cough up. So this has been sent to the people at the dealership in Minnesota, and hopefully they cover it. I should find out here in a little bit. But I'll read some of this because it just goes to like the lack of attention or a lack of attention to detail. And you're spending all this money and you expect technicians to be able to do their job correctly. And I know that probably a lot of mechanics and stuff like that are overworked, but this is thousands of dollars that we're paying. And to have that kind of money spent to have your equipment destroyed is pretty frustrating. So yeah, so they removed left rear drive axle, found the wrong gasket was installed, removed the paper gasket, cleaned up the service, applied a silicone gasket, and reinstalled axle shaft. right? Just to get the leaking to stop. Well, then they removed left rear wheel, removed brake drum, inspect and found wheel seal leaking, removed axle shaft and hub, noticed nuts were very loose. Just the weight of the ratchet loosened them. They were not tightened to max specs. When hub was removed, found wear marks on the spindle from a spun bearing. Also found racing on the entire spindle. So then they called the axle doctor. The axle doctor came in, did his treatment to the spindle. Spindle looks brand new. But anyways, let's go over how much damage this shop caused to my truck. So the first inspection was $114.87. The second inspection, which then included putting some things back together, was $487.15. To have the axle doctor come over and fix my spindle was $842.55. So if you add up all those things, the new bearings, the new wheel seal, the labor, the work that the the axle doctor did, you get a grand total of $1,678.63 that the shop in Minnesota is responsible for due to doing the job inadequate and causing that amount of damage to my truck. So yeah, like I said, I'm going to go back to the hotel now for the night. Hopefully I get a phone call tomorrow morning and we're ready to go.